A big part of linguistical theories is an attempt to create models that will explain all types of linguistic phenomena. And one of these models is the X-bar theory that was based on Noam Chomsky's first work from 1957. According to the X-bar theory, all phrases follow a universal scheme regardless of their category. So you can have a noun phrase, a verb phrase, and they all fit inside of the X-bar. These phrases will be labeled by XP, with X being the type of phrase it is. X is the head. And it can be a D for noun, a V for verb, an A for adjective, or a P for adposition. So a DP is a noun phrase, a VP is a verb phrase, an AP is an adjective phrase, and a PP is a prepositional phrase. The X-bar theory will form three diagrams, and they need to follow two principles. The headedness principle, which every sentence needs to have a head, and the binarity principle, which every node needs to branch onto exactly two nodes. So in a sentence, the specifier is an obligatory category that has a sister relation to the X-bar node. The head is an obligatory category, which is the core of the sentence, where the lexeme fits, and it will determine the form and characteristics of the phrase. So in a DP, the X will be the D, and on the X part, over here, where you will see head, you have the noun. In a VP, the X will be a V, and on the head, you have the verb. The complement is an obligatory category, which fits the argument required by the head, which can be noun complement. The complement of a noun will fit onto a complement. The direct complement and the indirect complement for the verbal complements will also fit under complement. And the adjunct is an optional category which will fit any modifier for the head. On the sentence, John ate an apple, we have the sentence. By the way, here we have NP instead of DP because the DP hypothesis came later. At first it used to be NP, but I'm using DP because that's what my class is using, and I didn't go deep into DP since we're already studying based on that. And these images are from Wikipedia, which, by the way, the article about the X-bar theory in Wikipedia is so great. It helped me a lot study on top of my normal course material. It's surprisingly very good. So we have the sentence, John ate an apple. The sentence will divide into the DP and the VP. Onto the DP, we open all the categories from the original tree diagram. This triangle here is just a summary since most categories are empty. So on the DP, John, it's a noun phrase, but the specifier is empty. We have John on head, complement is empty, and adjunct is also empty. So the DP John, we're supposed to open all the same tree diagrams because of the binarity principle and leave it empty. So here we put this graph, only put the triangle as a summary. On the other side of the branch, we have the VP that opens into specifier, which is empty, and V bar. V bar opens into V, the verb ate, the head. And the complement of what John ate is a direct complement, an apple. And the direct complement is a DP, which also goes here as a summary. Apple is the head of the DP, and the adjunct, yes. The N is a modifier for apple, and it goes under adjunct. However, when you are doing it to bigger sentences, you might have the sentence breach into three nodes because you have the sentence as it can open into the DP, an auxiliary and optional adjunct phrase, and the VP. And you can't from the binarity principle, have it open on tree. So to solve this problem, the IP was created as an inflectional sentence. It is a category that goes on the place of the S of the sentence to prevent the breakage of the binarity principle. The whole sentence is an IP. Another category that was created to solve the problems of the X-bar theory on bigger sentence is the CP, the complementizer. Every verb needs to be within its own CP. So when you have a sentence with subordinate or coordinate clauses, the sentence is the IP, and it opens into the CPs. Onto the CP category, the C, it goes the that, the if, the for, because it fits the subordinate and the coordinate clauses. So, I thought that John had eaten an apple. Here we have two CPs because you have two verbs. You have thought and had eaten. And whenever the complement goes as a subordinate sentence, is you have the VP opening into the CP. So I thought that John had eaten an apple. We have the IP that will open into specifier and CP1. CP1, I thought, will open into the DP, I, and thought that John had eaten an apple is the VP. The VP, you have the verb, thought, and the CP2, that John had eaten an apple. The CP2 will open into the C. We have that, because it's on the CP category. John had eaten an apple will be the same, the CP2, John had eaten an apple, will open the same way as this diagram, with the difference that I'm using had eaten instead of 8 to keep the sense. So with this example also from Wikipedia, we have the IP that open between the DP of John. Here, instead of a triangle, it used the straight line, but it's better to open and leave it empty. And you have the I. Why didn't I put it here? Okay, I forgot to add it here, but an IP includes auxiliary verbs and on the I category, that's what I was missing. It will include the auxiliary verbs of will and can, the S from the third person singular, and the ED from the past sentence. So now we have John studies linguistics at the university. The IP, the sentence, is everything. It opens into the DP, John, and the I. The I bar. The I bar opens into I, which is the S from the third person plural, and the VP. Study linguistics at the university. The VP opens into V bar. V bar opens into study, the verb, and the DP, linguistics. And the V, and into PP, the prepositional phrase. The preposition is at, and it opens onto another DP, the university. And T is the determiner for university.